Hey YouTube, this is Raj, and today I'm going to be talking about something you may not be thinking about when you use the anvil that is actually very important, and that is the prior work penalty. Now this is something that you should be aware of, especially when using an anvil, and there are a lot of things that you should consider about this. So why don't we get started? So what exactly is the prior work penalty in Minecraft, you might be asking? Well, it is the amount of times that you've reworked an item in an anvil. So every time you use an item in an anvil, it increases this penalty. So you have to be very cautious about the amount of times that you work an item in an anvil. Now the formula for the prior work penalty is pretty straightforward. As you can see here, it's 2 to the power of n, n being the amount of times you worked it in the anvil, minus 1. So this means if you have 0 times that it's been used in the anvil, it comes out as 0. If it comes out to 1, if you used it 1 time, it basically comes out to 1. If you use it 2 times, it comes out to 3. So there is a table right here that shows you how this works. So rework 0, 0, 1, 1, 3, or 2, 3, 3, 7, 4, and 15. So as you can see, when it gets up to 3, it becomes a lot more costly. And when I'm talking about what the prior work penalty is, it basically costs you enchantment levels when you're using an anvil. So this is the enchantment level cost at the bottom. So 3, 4 is 15, 5 is 31. You can see it gets really costly the more times you use it. And 6 is 63. Now this is the highest level you can do in survival. Besides that, it would be in creative. So it's almost impossible to rework an item when you get up to this high. Even that high would be probably too much. So yeah, so just so you can be clear what counts in the rework count, it's basically repairing items, combining books, pretty much anything involved in the anvil. The only exception is renaming items. That does not count towards the rework penalty. So what I'm going to do is just show you a quick example of this. So I have a pickaxe and a bunch of enchantment books, and I should also explain with how the anvil works in general. So this is called the target. This is called the sacrifice. So the easiest way to think about this is you're sacrificing this item into that. So a good example is with the pickaxe. You have to always put the pickaxe in the first category. You can't put it in the second one because you can't sacrifice a pickaxe into an enchantment book. So what I am going to do here, just to display the prior work penalty. So at this point, the prior work penalty is 0. So the cost of the enchantment is only this book. So it costs 5 enchantment just to sacrifice this book into the pickaxe, and as you can see, you get an efficiency 5 pickaxe for enchantment 5. Now if you have unbreaking 3 and you put it in, now unbreaking 3 costs 3 enchantment cost. So as you can tell, it's increased cost of 1 because this has a rework of 1 already. Okay, so the next one is mending. Mending is 2 costs. So as you can tell, it's gone up to 5. That's because this thing's already been reworked twice. I should also explain that if you have 2 items in here, so this one is the like every time you use the anvil, it accounts for the prior work penalty. This is why it's important to know about this. So if you have a prior work penalty on the pickaxe of, what is it, 2 at this point, every time you put this in, even though you're sacrificing books into it, the rework is going to keep increasing. And also the prior work penalty for both items is accounted into the enchantment cost. So if this one had been reworked about 5 times, that would be accounted into the enchantment cost. And if you have 2 items that have prior work penalties on it, the end result will end up being having the rework count of the higher item. So if you have this one that has 2 and this one has 3, the end resulting pickaxe will have 4 because it's taking the one that's higher from 3 and then adding 1. Okay, so the last book is Fortune 3. Now Fortune should be about 6 enchantment costs, so as you can see, the rework count ended up being, the prior work penalty ended up being about 7. So that means it is, what, 3? Yeah, 3. So yeah, 2 to the power of 3, which comes out to 8 minus 1. So that's 7 plus the 6. So that's how you get the enchantment cost of 13. So as you can tell, as I'm putting more enchantments on, it's increasing the prior work penalty to a point where it's starting to become really costly, even though this book doesn't cost that much. So at the next level, it'll be up to 4. So I believe that's about, what is it, 15? So it'll cost 15 at that point, and it'll start to become too costly to actually keep putting enchantments on here. So you have to be very careful about how you put enchantments on things, or repair items, or combine items, because if you don't account for the prior work penalty, it could become very costly. And that was the prior work penalty in Minecraft. One thing I forgot to mention was about the Grindstone. So if you're not familiar with what the Grindstone is, it's very similar to the anvil. The big difference though is it disenchants items. So with the anvil, it enchants the items, or you can use a lot of enchantment books to combine them and put them onto items. But the Grindstone does the opposite. It basically removes the enchantments, but it also can remove the prior work penalty. So if you want to get rid of the prior work penalty, you can do it that way, but beware that it will get rid of your enchantments. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, please give me a like. If you want me to keep producing content, please give me a subscribe. And you can always leave a comment. I appreciate that. And stay classy, YouTube. This is Raj. Wow.